Hey guys, welcome to our video. So in our today's lecture, we're going to talk about smartphone web development. So today we will learn how to basically write an HTML code, how to create an HTML file, a web page, a website using your smartphones. So we will see how can you learn this language, how can you write these codes, and how easily you will be able to run these codes on your smartphone devices. So we will also look into what kind of softwares do you need to create these files, how can you create these files, how to use the software, how to use the text editor on your smartphone, and all about that in our video. So let's begin.
Now basically, let's see what do you require to actually create a website, learn website development, to write HTML code, CSS code, JavaScript code, or any other website development code using your smartphones. So now we will see what kind of apps do you use, how do you use it, how can you use it, what are the outcomes, how do you actually see the outcomes, and how much difference there is between mobile phone development and desktop development. That is, desktop is basically your laptop, your PC, your MacBook, anything like that. So the first thing that you're going to do is basically you're going to jump into Play Store and you're going to search for an app called AndWriter Free HTML Editor. So this is basically the app that we will be using to develop a web page, to basically develop an HTML file using our smartphone, our Android phone. As you can see, I'm using an Android, so this has a 4.4 reviews that are not too bad. And as you can see over here about this app, that it is a text editor that is used to write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So basically, you can use like similar to the desktop version in which you use Sublime Text, Atom, Visual Studio, all of those codes. In mobile phone development and smartphone development, you can actually use the app called AndWriter. So since I have already actually installed it, I don't really have to install it again, so I can just open it right away. So let's open it up. So there we go, it opens. So once it opens, you should see something like this. So this should be the screen you should be seeing after opening. So now let's see what the console is basically providing us. What options do we get over here? What are the things that we can do over here? So you can see I have a less than sign, which is very important in HTML. As we know, this is our closing bracket. We have a greater than sign, that is our closing bracket. And now we also have a closing tag over here. As you can see, it is already provided. And not only that, you have the equal to. Along with that, you also get a tab. How cool is that? So you're basically provided with everything that you would have been working with the desktop version of HTML if you were developing an HTML file using some desktop text editor. So it is kept very, very similar to that, and it is extremely easy to use. It's about the same experience. It's 99% the exact same experience, if not better. So let's try to create a template. So as you know, when we type HTML in our editor on our desktop, we automatically get some suggestions. So let's see if it's the case while using a mobile phone. Can we do the same thing? Can the same thing occur? So let's see. So if I say HTML, you can see I have three suggestions. One is just for an HTML tag. Second is for HTML4 template. So as we know, this template has been expired. It is not being used anymore. Now we have the HTML5, so we work with that. So let's first select the HTML and see what happens. So that we have the tag, the closing bracket appeared itself. So now let's do it again and let's try to select the template and see what happens. There you go. So you basically have the entire template similar to what you would have seen on your desktop. So that just makes you basically see how easy it is to create a web page, to create an HTML file using your smartphones. How easily can you do that, and how similar experience are you getting on your mobile phone? So now let's add a title. So for adding a title, it's just a matter of just going over here and just typing your title. So let's say new file, and let's give this a title. So now we have the title. So now we know that the rest of the part is going to be done in the body. I can add a tab if I like to. So that is really convenient that we have this tab. So we can actually also not only write the code but make it look good. We can write a proper code, indent it properly. So let's try with something very basic, that would be adding a heading. So let's see if we can add a heading, if that is an option that we get. So yeah, over here if you see, let me do that again for you. we have the option of H1, 2, 3 up to 6 and a header. So let's go with H1 first. So let's say this is a heading, and if you notice that this is basically auto correcting everything. Now that is something you do not get on your desktop, so this experience is actually a little bit better in terms of auto correcting. That this is a feature you don't really get when you're working on your desktop, so that is something to consider. Now you can see I have the closing tag. I can just press it and it automatically closes it. I don't have to do it. That is really convenient. So now if you see on the bottom right screen, the second icon I have is a play button. So let's see what happens when I click it. This is how you run your HTML file. So now you can see that I'm actually run my HTML file. You can see the heading that is appearing over here, and it looks exactly the same what I would have seen on my desktop. So this is insane. This is almost the very identical experience that you would get on your desktop. So let's go back, and now let's add an HR. So we know that the HR is basically used to create a line, a horizontal line. And after the HR, let's go with, and if you notice, it's actually indenting the text. When I press enter, it already produces a tab over here. If you can notice, there is some gap over here. So this is basically indenting it too. So very similar experience. So now let's add a P tag. The P tag is for the paragraph, obviously. And now let's say this is our HTML. Oh, didn't censor HTML lecture. So let's add the closing tag of P. We have the HR and the P. That is the new thing that we have added. So let's see if that works. Works perfectly. So now you can see that I have basically a paragraph over here, and also I have a heading, and the HR appears on point and you can see it very clearly. So that is so good. Now let's go back. So now let's see if the BR tag works. Between there, let's add a BR. BR is basically the line break. That means go to the next line. That acts like an enter key. So now if I play it, there you go. The BR works as well. All right, great. So now the question arises that what if you want to save your file? Where do you save it? Where does the file go? If I close the app, does that mean the file's gone? No, that's not the case. You can save the file on your mobile phone. You can save it in your file manager. Every Android device has basically a file manager built in, and even the iOS have the file. Now we have the file option after the iOS 12, so you can also find the file over there if you're working on the iOS, but we're working on an Android, so if we want to save it, we just click on the save button. It automatically takes you over here. So this is basically my file manager. As you can see, I just have to go to storage, emulate it, and then there's a folder in which I have all of my files. So you see the path on the top, so you know you don't get lost. Now over here, let's name the file. Let's say new file .html, and let's save it. Yeah, okay, I already have a file, so I just overwrited it, and you can see I have the new file .html. So that means the file has been saved. So if you want to check it, go to the folder, just press the folder icon. Let's go all the way down, and you can see it says new file.html. I also have two more, so I have basically 3 files that are saved in here. So now we will also see later on in the video that how can you use anchor tags to link them together. That is right, you can actually use anchor tags for this in this basic editor. So it basically is providing you everything you would have found in a desktop text editor. So that is really great. Now let's do something else. Let's try to create an unordered list over here, and let's see if that works. So I will add a UL tag. And as we know that inside the UL we have the list items. The list items are called the li. It's already giving me a suggestion. So let's add water over here. Let's close it. Let's press enter. And now let's add another li, and let's call it T. Let's close this one too. And after that, let's add another one, the last one, and let's call this one coffee. So there we have it. We have the ls. So now let's close our UL, and it closes it. So it's just so easy that all you have to do is press that less than sign and the slash, and it automatically closes the tag. As you can see, the code is properly indented. We have the properly indented code, and now if we refresh it, let's see what happens. there's our list. So there we go, that's our list, and we can create a fully functional list. Let's try to change this the UL to OL. That is, OL stands for ordered list, and let's see if it still works, if it still is working. So yeah, it even tells me that the closing tag belongs to the OL. It's basically indicating me, and it's giving me all the 9 line numbers and everything basically that I need. I have in this console. It provides me with each and everything. And if you click on this 4 arrows that you can see on the middle section or right corner, there is this. Okay, so now I can basically I have navigation keys. So as you can see, I can basically navigate through these keys. So if I don't want to actually touch my screen, I can basically use this. So this basically is acting like your arrow keys in your desktop. So this is basically simulating the exact same experience for you and making it so much easier for you to do it. So now let's try to basically run the OL, the ordered list. There we go, and there we have it. We have the ordered list 1, 2, 3. So now let's change the 1, 2, 3 to ABC or something like it, to just see if the attributes basically works. Are the attributes actually working? So for that, I just have to go over here. I have to enter an attribute called type equal, and then I have to add the quotes. Let me add both of the quotes so that we can work easily. And now let's say A. So moment of truth, let's see. It works perfectly. All the attributes work. Everything works. So let's go back, and now let's actually try to create an anchor tag. So this is gonna be how to basically link our files together. So on the very top, let me create an anchor tag over here, and we will basically give it a little bit of tab and then A, and it all automatically fills the href. That is a good sign. And now let's see how can we basically link a file. So let me search for a file. I'm going into folders. Let me see what let's link this file with the web class.html. So let's do that. So over here, all I have to do is add web class and web class.html. Now there it is. So now let's see if that actually works. So let's just say click here, and let's close our anchor tag. So our anchor tags has been completed. So now that means we can run it, and you can say it says click here, and when I click, you can actually see that it moved to the web class.html. So we actually have a working anchor tag. So that is really awesome. So now we can basically write anything. We can basically practice any topic. We can use anything, any tag, any attribute that we use in HTML and that we used on our desktop to create a website, to create a web page on your smartphone. So this course is basically you can learn this course using your smartphone and your desktop. So whatever is convenient for you, whatever is whatever you're comfortable with, you can basically learn website development on that. So as you have witnessed now, it is really easy to develop websites and to develop web pages using HTML, and you can even add CSS into your HTML files using your smartphones. So it is that easy and it is that simple. So I hope you understood how to actually write a code using HTML in a smartphone on your Android iOS device, and basically how can you basically run it and check if it actually works. You can add all the titles, you can basically autofill everything, and much more. So I guess this video really helped you understand all of this, and thank you so much for watching.